with that, we can welcome Sorin Ionita, president of the think tank Expert Forum. It's a great pleasure to have you with us on the program today. As we just saw in that report, the last ballot was, a messy affair, to say the least, and it's been a rocky few months since. So what kind of an election can we expect to see this time round?
There will be an election with three competitors. One is the MAGA movement with two candidates, George Simion that you mentioned, and another one, Victor Ponta, former prime minister. So these are the sovereignist movements. There's one candidate in the middle of the system of the current coalition left-right, so the mainstream parties. And this is a vote for, if you want, geopolitical continuity, pro-West, but also a very corrupt regime and very non-credible with the public. And this is why they have a problem even finding individual candidates for each party. And then you have the last one, the reformist movement, again with two candidates, Nicu Șordan, the mayor of Bucharest, and Elena Lascoli, which you mentioned. And they also have a conflict of, personalities between them. So every camp is undermined by some, political incompetence, so to speak. So these are the three main movements, if you want, that run in these elections, and the chances are pretty balanced, I would say.
Now, it really is a crucial election, isn't it? Because it could propel the ultra-nationalist George Simion to power. And of course, a far-right victory could lead to Romania veering from its pro-Western path. Give us a picture of what a Simion victory could look like.
Yes, it is a very, scary perspective, because Romania never had an openly anti-Western president. But having said that, if he manages to win the presidency, there will be a permanent conflict between him and the parliament, because the Romanian constitution makes it so that the president cannot act alone, cannot dismiss the government, while early elections for the parliament in Romania are almost impossible to organize. So we are stuck with the current parliament, which generates a government, and then there will be a president, and there will be a permanent, very uneasy cohabitation between them. So this is a perspective, but of course it will be very bad for Romania's geopolitical alignment, and especially for the support that we have been giving to Ukraine.
So just to hold you on your point there, what are then the geopolitical consequences at risk in this election, especially with respect to NATO and Ukraine?
It is, the worst possibility is for Romania to become another Hungary, if you want, with a lot of internal political cacophony. So this would be different from Hungary. But to become an obstacle, to become somebody making troubles in the European affairs, practicing a rhetoric which is anti-Western, xenophobic, anti-immigration, although we don't have much immigration. So they will import here into Romania a lot of cultural wars, actually, which are more characteristic for the United States. So there will be a MAGAification of Romanian politics, with all the consequences, for the position vis-à-vis Russia and Ukraine.
And Simion's win could also test Romania's ties to the European Union, couldn't it? A test for the rise of nationalism in the EU, especially with the cohort of existing Eurosceptic leaders like the prime ministers of Hungary, as you just mentioned, and Slovakia as well.
Yes, they will try to be like Orban and Fico, but there will be limitations on such a path, because, if you are a Romanian nationalist, you cannot be very good friend with a Hungarian nationalist, right? So I would say George Simion, actually, he tried to get closer to Giorgia Meloni, for example, and to the corresponding political family in the European Parliament, which they did. So at least in the last year, they toned down the rhetoric of hostility towards our immediate neighbors. They don't speak so much about claiming territories from the Republic of Moldova or Ukraine. So we saw a little bit of moderation in their discourse, because they try to be acceptable in the European Parliament and in Europe in general. But at the bottom of their heart, we know that they have these values of xenophobia, of nationalism, and actually a lot of skepticism toward the rules of the European Union.
Now, the last ballot was, of course, annulled following evidence of Russian interference. So what are some of the measures that are being taken to counter similar threats this time?
Well, actually, the evidence was pretty thin on the ground, so it's been pushed a lot in the media, but, probably there was some intervention from Russia, because if they are everywhere in the region and they try to interfere everywhere, why would they spare Romania? However, the Romanian authorities haven't been able to prove much since November until now. But the upside is that the institutions are a bit more solid now. The electoral authority, for example, the head of the electoral authority was changed. They are a little bit more proactive, so they are not in the passive mood they have been the whole autumn, allowing Georgescu and the whole sovereignist movement to come under the radar. At this last year, we could even see some complicity in state institution, in the law and order apparatus, with the whole, Georgescu movement. Probably they got scared, and when I'm saying they, I mean the regime, and especially the two mainstream parties, Social Democrats and Liberals, who are the running coalition. So they are a bit more proactive. We see a bit more monitorization, because before November, it was just the civil society and the media who was putting the spot of light on the sovereignist movements. The centrist parties were in collusion, and they were playing strategic games with the extremist movements in Romania. And this is why they got the result which they got in November.
Sorin, it's been really great to hear your insights. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much.